When an enterprise platform attempts to process a high volume of complex transactions, the customer-facing interface often fractures under the weight of internal operations. Behind the checkout button, an order must communicate with ERPs, inventory management tools, and fulfillment platforms. When these disparate back-end systems inject their unique processing rules directly onto the storefront, they create a massive, invisible data bottleneck. The business feels the impact immediately. Storefront checkout times drag, processing errors spike, and internal teams are forced to manually correct mismatched orders in spreadsheets just to run a daily batch. This exposes a severe architectural conflict. The customer requires a frictionless buying journey to complete a purchase. The business requires strict adherence to highly specific payment and fulfillment conditions to process it. Scaling successfully requires untangling these competing priorities. The heavy business logic must be extracted from the Magento storefront entirely and shifted into a decoupled API integration layer. Expecting a single monolithic codebase to instantly render a fast user interface while simultaneously calculating enterprise-grade routing logic ensures poor performance on both fronts. To understand exactly why the core architecture breaks under pressure, we first have to look at how Magento processes a baseline transaction. This animated diagram shows an isometric view of a checkout cart. When a shopper adds a standard order, Magento routes that data cleanly down a single path. The system breaks when the cart becomes mixed. Adding a heavy freight item contradicts the first item's logic. Next, a service-related item with partial payment requirements paralyzes the processing node, attempting to calculate flat-rate shipping, specialized freight, and fragmented payments simultaneously. Because these conflicting conditions are hard-coded directly into the user interface, the shopper is hit with a barrage of confusing shipping options and overlapping payment prompts. The back-end systems cannot parse this tangled output efficiently. As a result, operations teams must step in to manually decouple the order line by line, ensuring the legacy ERP receives accurate data. By forcing the Magento core to serve as the primary calculator for multiple back-end platforms, the setup sacrifices checkout velocity and operational data accuracy in a single stroke. Fixing this structural flaw requires halting code development and stepping back. You must map out exactly how your business needs distinct orders to behave before altering the storefront code. This diagram illustrates the mapping process. We isolate payment conditions, fulfillment routing, and service workflows into entirely separate modular rule sets. With the rules defined, we execute a physical separation. Decoupling elevates the storefront UI, completely detaching it from those underlying business logic layers. In this isolated state, the storefront is restricted to one job. It collects unified order intent and secures basic payment authorization from the buyer. All of the heavy calculation logic is pushed downward into a middleware layer. The user interface remains lightweight, stripped of the dense conditional scripts that cause browser lag and processing errors. A properly decoupled architecture insulates the customer. They navigate the store and check out without ever interacting with your internal operational friction. To bridge that clean storefront with a complex enterprise backend, we insert an API-first integration layer to act as an intelligent middleman. Returning to our diagram, the mixed cart order leaves the storefront UI as a single unfragmented payload. The central integration hub instantly intercepts and actively splits it, parsing out divergent rules for every item. The first stream, carrying deposit logic, routes to finance. Simultaneously, the second stream diverts heavy freight directly to third-party logistics. Finally, standard fulfillment data bypasses custom logic and flows straight to the order management system. This intense data orchestration happens deep beneath the surface layer. The shopper sees zero lag time and receives a standard order confirmed screen instantly. API-first routing ensures that extreme back-end complexity is rendered completely invisible to the front-end user. This zero-friction architecture translates directly to operational performance. By stripping the calculation strain from the front end, you see an immediate, sustained drop in checkout latency. Payment workflows that historically stalled or crashed the cart can now process deposits and custom terms flawlessly, requiring zero manual oversight from internal finance teams. The need for daily spreadsheet corrections vanishes. Legacy ERP systems receive precisely mapped data streams, keeping inventory counts and financial records tightly synchronized without human intervention. Because the user experience is no longer throttled by back-end processing delays, cart abandonment drops. Conversion rates naturally rise as the purchase path becomes frictionless. A decoupled architecture proves that customer simplicity and operational accuracy can coexist. Let's formalize these steps into specific directives. First, extract all complex business logic and custom workflows out of the Magento core. Second, implement a dedicated API-first integration layer to act as the sole routing engine for all scalable data. Third, simplify your front-end checkout rules. Never expose internal operational requirements to the buyer during checkout. Fourth, let your back-end ERP and order management systems determine the shape of your data flow. Do not force those back-end rules to conform to Magento's storefront limitations. Choosing to maintain a tightly coupled monolithic storefront in a highly scaled environment is a decision to accept ongoing data mismatches and lost sales. Take a precise look at your operations this quarter. Calculate the exact frequency of your cart bottlenecks and measure the manual hours spent correcting ERP synchronization errors. A comprehensive technical integration review is the required first step to migrate away from a broken core and toward a clean API-first structure. Book a consultation with our digital architecture experts. We will evaluate your current storefront logic and build the technical roadmap to decouple your architecture. Running a complex enterprise operation is challenging. Completing a transaction on your storefront should never be.